What's up, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Happy Tuesday. Welcome into Broncos Breakdown Live, which airs every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm so excited to be with you now that all of the Broncos offseason stuff is done for the formidable and foreseeable future until the end of July when we get into training camp. So we've got a little bit of a lull period here, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some great stuff to talk about surrounding the Denver Broncos. Now, before we get started with all that stuff, you know what I need you to do? Shout out your city. Let's get as many people shouting out where they're watching from right now as we allow everyone to kind of build into the audience. And make sure, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up video. Helps push this out to more Broncos fans. Oh, what a day. What a day. Mr. Football, what up, my man? He says, what's up? Let's go Broncos. He's watching from L.A. Push Your Land Empire from Columbus. Colorado Springs, says Mark. Danny says Tuscaloosa. Springfield, Massachusetts from DeJesus. Dallas from Zach. Rapid City, South Dakota from Sharon. Joshua Kirby says Sandpoint, Idaho, about 70 miles south of the TUE Canadian border. Interesting. Very cool. I've only been to Canada once, and it was to go see Niagara Falls. I don't know if that counts as visiting Canada, though, because it was like literally right across the border from Buffalo, New York, which we also stayed on that side of. Chad Campbell says Mullen, South Carolina. Time in the Buckeye. Time, man. What's up, brother? Oh, hi. Oh. Montrose, baby, says KP. Nathaniel says Pueblo, Colorado. Keep shouting out those cities, guys. We got 30 people watching right now. We got producer Dylan on the ones and twos today. He'll join us here in just a second as he gets a couple more things squared away. We were having some technical difficulties just like not even 2 minutes before we started. So how does my volume sound right now? Does it sound pretty good? Give me a thumbs up in the chat below if I'm sounding okay. One of the issues we were running into was an audio issue. The other one was a camera issue. Luckily, I think we got both squared away. Adrian Clay says Mississippi. Mississippi. H-Town, hold it down, says Chase. Let's go. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Danny's watching in Baton Rouge. Are you on vacation, Danny? You gotta be. Gotta be on vacay right now. I'm going to be heading on vacation here in just about 2 weeks, heading up to Minnesota with my fiance for a little 4th of July festivities with her family. Every single 4th of July, we kind of head up to their neck of the woods, and we do a gigantic lake party where all of the aunts and uncles come out. We do barbecue grill and stuff. It's going to be a great time. Nobody from Denver yet, says Mark. Surprisingly, no, you're right. We have not seen a single Denver, Colorado yet. Appreciate that, Sharon. Thank you so much for letting me know. All right, Dylan, you ready to jump on the mic, sir? You good? Say what's up to the people. Come on now. Let that personality shine through.
What's up, everyone? It's a nice Tuesday here in Dallas. I think we're in the 90s now.
We are. So can I tell you something that I find absolutely hysterical? Before I moved down here, everyone was telling me how hot and how humid and how god-awful the summers were going to be. It has rained pretty much like every day in June. We have yet to have that one really hot summer day yet. I think the high that we've only experienced, at least for me, is 95, which is hot, don't get me wrong, but I was expecting 106, 108, where dry heat, it was going to be beating down on you, and we really haven't had that. For the most part, it's been upper 80s, low 90s, when it's sunny, and then when it rains, it's upper 70s.
It's exactly like you'd get in Florida right now.
I know.
You get a shower for like 20 minutes and then it just goes away.
It's ridiculous. And I told my parents, who have been living down in the Dallas area for now about 3.5, almost 4 years. I was like, does it usually rain this much in Texas? And they were like, no, this is the most wet season we're having in Dallas since we've moved down here. And like I said, it's almost 4 years coming up here in a couple of months for them. So I couldn't believe it. Zach said, you'll see. Just give it some time. Absolutely. All right. By the way, just very quickly before we hit our next little build-up portion of this Broncos Breakdown Live, I do have a brand new X account that I've been trying to plug. One of the off-season goals that my boss has given me is to get as many new followers on X and on Instagram that I can possibly get before the NFL season starts. So if you could do me a huge favor, if you could just give me a quick little follow on X. I'm posting Broncos content all the time, every single day, as a matter of fact. So if you need a new follow and you want even more Broncos stuff, go ahead, give me a quick little follow. Here's what I'll do. I'll follow the first 5 people that follow me on X right now. That's what I'm going to do. And you'll find that during the off-season, one of the things here at Chat Sports that we're responsible for as hosts is to build the metrics. So making sure that our subs are still on the level playing field, our likes don't go down, our followers on social media don't go down, that they continue to rise up. And then once we get into the football season, that's when it just becomes all football all the time. And I know that you guys appreciate that, but this is part of the job. So I know there's a lot of people that are like, they're constantly begging for subs and for likes. Well, I'd be out of a job if I didn't do that. So it definitely is one of those things that helps us out a lot if you could hit that like button and if you hit subscribe. Let's see if we got people that are following. We got Stick, T.I. Stick, believe it or not, who just followed me. I'm going to follow you back, brother, right now. Follow back, T.I. Stick. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, the next 4 people that follow me on X, I'm going to follow them right back. Yeah, appreciate that, Mark. Mark's a real one. Mark is definitely a real one. Michael, what's up, brother? I'm following you back right now. Appreciate that, my friend. A couple more here, and then we will get on to our next little build-up portion of the show before we start talking to you guys about the news and rumors surrounding the Denver Broncos. If you want to put up the live sub counter now, Dylan, you totally can. No, I got you. Don't worry about it. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Don's watching from Omaha right now. Appreciate it. Unless you're quoting Peyton Manning. Omaha! Okay, so like I was saying, one of the things that we are responsible for here at Chat Sports is during the offseason is we really want to focus on our metrics, which, is part of the job, and it comes with the territory, especially for a new host like myself. And I've only been taking over the Broncos now for, it's been 6 weeks, I think, is the official timeline. It's right around there, so it's been about a month and a half. So one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that we beat not only our likes record for the month of June, but also our subs record for the month of June. Now, I will say this. We've got good news on that front, on the likes front. We are probably 75, I would say. I haven't looked at the numbers today. We're about 75% on the way to beating the likes record. And we are very, very close to beating the subs record in June. So this is pretty cool. So if you haven't already subscribed, do me a huge favor. Hit that sub button, completely free. Won't charge you a single thing. Turn on those notifications, and you'll get free Broncos content, not just once a day, but sometimes twice a day. I'm trying to put out more and more content as the days go along here, especially when there becomes less and less and less things to talk about. And I'm sure you've noticed that as well. Michael's watching from Pueblo. Mark says, something I gotta know. You are in Dallas, and your wife's family is from Minnesota. Almost wife. Will be married in September. So are you a true blue and orange Broncos fan? Yes. So my dad's favorite team growing up was actually the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So we were a huge college football team and college football household family when I was growing up. But his favorite quarterback was John Elway. So I grew up listening to my dad talk about John Elway all the time. So as I started to grow up, I started to, follow NFL football more and more often to the point where I became an absolute nerd about the game, where I was studying it all off season. I was studying it during the season. So if that helps you out a little bit, then that's probably the best answer that I can give you. But when I grew up, it was all Notre Dame all the time. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that, my friend. Am I doing fantasy football? Yes, I run 3 to 4 fantasy football leagues per year. Last year, my team sucked, by the way. They were freaking awful. Just awful, Dylan. All right, let's talk about what's coming up here on the show. I don't want to waste any more of your time. We're about 12 minutes in now to our build-up. So here's what we got coming up for the Broncos. Off-season winners and losers. Now, I do realize that throughout the off-season, we have done OTA winners and losers. We have done rookie minicamp winners and losers. I wanted to hold off on doing mandatory minicamp winners and losers simply because, it's the best way to say this. I wanted to kind of lump everything in. That's kind of the best way I could put it. So I wanted to make sure that I did a full off-season winners and losers up to this point. Obviously, training camp will have winners and losers as well. But I wanted to lump everything in for the off-season up until right now. So that'll be our first one. I think you're going to like that. I put a lot of effort into that one. It was a lot. You can ask Dylan. It was a long script. And then some Broncos hidden gems. I found an article that kind of explained 2 players. One of them I agree with. One of them is kind of on the fence, that claims that these are hidden gems that could have these, not necessarily breakout seasons, but could have even bigger roles heading into 2025. Then, of course, we've got ourselves our mailbag where you can get your questions in by asking or using, hashtag Broncos for the upcoming mailbag, or you could always super chat. We're trying to get to $20 on today's super chat, or today's super chat goal is $20, I should say, on today's live show. Man, Dylan, I'm having a tough time talking today. It's been rough. We should start a Broncos Breakdown Fantasy League. That's not a bad idea. I'm going to talk to my boss about that after this. Okay. Are we ready to get started here pretty soon, Dylan? All right. Dylan's ready to go. If you have any more questions, make sure you use hashtag Broncos so that our system picks it up, or send us in a super chat. Remember, our goal today is $20. Hey, there we go. We got our first one. Mr. Danny. Ooh, that's a really good question. We're going to save that for right after our first segment. We'll put that. Actually, you know what, Dylan? No. We'll wait till afterwards. I think that's a pretty good idea. I think it's a good idea. All right. Let's get into our Broncos off-season winners and losers. Now that the Broncos offseason has officially come to a stopping point, I thought it would be a really good idea to take all of the offseason workouts, combine them from not only rookie minicamp, the draft, OTAs, and mandatory minicamp, and lump them into one big sum in our official and ultimate Broncos offseason winners and losers. What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and like I said on today's episode, a combo of the draft, OTAs, and mini camps of the Broncos offseason winners and losers. I should remind you that there are no real losers. I know people take a lot of umbrage with that, and they go, how can anybody be an actual loser? How could you be a loser? It's only June. I get that. I realize that for the sake of the argument and for either lack of being mentioned during mini camps and OTAs, or maybe something happened in the draft, some guys are a little bit less fortunate than others. That's what we mean by losers. I should also mention, though, if you haven't subscribed, you're also missing out and you're losing out on major free Broncos content. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. All right, on to our first winner. Let's go with our round 2 pick, RJ Harvey. And I've said his name a bunch during this offseason, but the truth is that Broncos country has not been this excited about a running back draft prospect in quite some time. Listen, I realize that he's not Ashton Genty, and he's not Omarion Hampton. But I do feel like that under Sean Payton, he can thrive in his own role. Omarion Hampton is going to be a bruising back. Ashton Genty is going to be beat into the ground by Pete Carroll's run-first style of offense. RJ Harvey, in my opinion, not only can have the longest career, but can also have the most success as a dual-threat back, because of the way that Sean Payton has his joker role for not only the tight end, but for the running back position. So I look at RJ Harvey and everything that all of the media members and Sean Payton and Joe Lombardi have gushed about him during the offseason, and they all say the exact same thing. This kid is going to be a stud. And I'm not even going to lie to you. Out of all of the Broncos 2025 draft picks, RJ Harvey is my favorite. Not because I don't like the other players, but when it comes to the upside, the potential to be amazing, Harvey is clearly number 1 on this list, according to Moose. So I look at Harvey and what he did when he started rookie minicamp to where he ended up after J.K. Dobbins was signed and what J.K. Dobbins had to say about him, which was he sees special in RJ Harvey. I mean, it was all over the media. Dobbins, after he signed, said, not only am I going to mentor this kid, but I see something in him. I see the potential. I see the grittiness. I see the work ethic. I see the desire to be amazing. And all of those things combined with his natural God-given abilities to not only run the football, his shiftiness, but I think we saw also on display, his hands are a lot better than advertised. So that leads me into my next question just for you. Is RJ Harvey your favorite 2025 Broncos draft pick? Simple yes or no question. I'm saying yes. I like all of them. I think all of them have unique skill sets and they all offer something different. But RJ Harvey, for me, is clearly the one that I'm most looking forward to seeing in 2025. Now, my second winner, I think this kind of has to go without saying. I put Bo on the list because of what Sean Payton has said about him and what we've seen on tape, albeit it's limited. But I know what you're probably thinking. Why didn't you have Bo number 1? Well, we saw what Bo was capable of at the very end of last season. Now, he certainly has gotten better. And I do want to point something out very quickly. When you have ex-quarterbacks that have played in the NFL before, Rex Grossman, who was a Chicago Bears quarterback for a long time, actually took them to the Super Bowl back in 2005, said that Bo Nix is going to be a monster in the NFL. Back to my original point. If you have ex-quarterbacks saying that you are going to be a monster, you should take that with like a hint of pride. Because Bo, I think the biggest question mark during last season was, can he play off script? Can he excel outside of the Sean Payton system? And I think we all saw that, hell yes he can. His athleticism, far better than advertised. And last year, the statistics were really good. And he didn't even start good. He started off slow. The rookie growing pains were on display. So as he got better throughout the season, I'm sure every single Broncos fan was thinking to themselves, "Oh my God, like we got a baller on our hands." First one since Peyton Manning to really give us that true amount of hope. I know Drew Lock had moments of flash, but the truth is Bo Nix is a far better prospect and player than Drew Lock ever was. Now, what were the actual improvements that we saw from Bo during the offseason this year? Well, he put on about 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. His play memorization has increased tenfold. His communication with his players, mainly his wide receivers, has drastically increased. And his communication with Sean Payton. Because the one thing you need to see from your play caller is that communication with the head coach, that they're on the same page as well. Because when those two are gelling, everything else around them can gel even better. So my take is that I'm expecting Bo Nix to have a dark horse MVP candidate season. I don't know if he'll win it year 2. But I fully expect that he could finish top 6, top 5. I don't see that out of the realm of possibilities whatsoever. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Bo Nix can do this season. And if he can balance the on-script with the off-script and the surprisingness that we saw off-script last year, I think we are looking at a franchise quarterback, no doubt, but also an MVP caliber player that can take us to a Super Bowl. So let's go with Sean Payton as our last winner. And I know this feels kind of like cliche to say, right? Where you go, really, Moose, you have the coach as a winner? Well, when you consider where Sean Payton and this team was just a couple of seasons ago, when he first came in and had the Russell Wilson contract to deal with and that team, think about where we're at now from where he started. I mean, it's come a full circle. The move on from Russell Wilson, check. You drafted your franchise quarterback, check. Your defense went from one of the worst, if not the worst in the NFL, to arguably the best, check. Oh, and by the way, you got your jokers, Evan Ingram, and now what we already can assume is R.J. Harvey. So you tell me, out of all 4 of these things, has he not just knocked it out of the park? The full display of Sean Payton's brilliance has been on display. And I also think that the way he communicates, not only with the media members, but with his team, shows that old school, no nonsense, we are here to win championships mentality. I mean, Zach Stevens said it best. He reported it best. Sean Payton said tomorrow's a salt day. There are no sugar days. I like that. And I feel like there's a lot of younger head coaches right now in the NFL that they let their players have all these like fun little breaks during OTAs. And Sean Payton's like, we're here to work, man. We're here to get better. If we want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and win the AFC West, God damn it, we've got to make sure that we're always on our game. So the influence that Payton has cannot be ignored. And that's something I greatly appreciate, especially as a young person. I'm not even 30 yet. And I look at this and I say, that's the guy that I want to play for. And I'm sure that's what's attracting free agents to Denver like we saw this last offseason period. So who is the biggest winner out of every single Broncos player/coach this offseason? Let me know in the comment section down below. I have to say it's Sean Payton. I really do. I thought he was outstanding this offseason, and I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store. Speaking of what we have in store, Fanatics has this in store right now. And if you use this link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video, go to chatsports.com/BoNXT. You can start shopping all the best Broncos gear today. I realize that it's a black t-shirt, it's summer, it's getting hot, but the truth is, this is sleek, it's cool, it supports the channel, and QB1. So do me a favor, I made it simple for you. This link is already ready for you to go. Start your shopping today at chatsports.com/BroncosNixT. Or BoNXT, excuse me. Now, we do have to get into the losers, unfortunately. And these players that I have on the list are not necessarily losers because they got worse or because there wasn't necessarily as much to say on them during the offseason. But I do believe that with some of the draft picks and the free agency additions, the players that I have on this losers list are in danger of having a severely diminished role in 2025. So let's start with Jaleel McLaughlin, someone that I have not been shy about saying this is a problem. And I know a lot of people will say, highlight reel Jaleel. That's Sean Payton's guy, man. Well, yeah, but if it was Sean Payton's guy, why'd you go out and draft R.J. Harvey? Why'd you go out and sign J.K. Dobbins? The truth is that his role is going to be significantly diminished in 2025. And I take no pleasure in saying that. But you've got to do what's best for the interest of the team. And what the team needs is a hell of a lot more stronger of a run game than they had last year. and the current running back depth chart, the way that I have it listed, this to me is what I'd be rolling out. I feel like Audric Estime, maybe this is just the Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, homer in me. I feel like he's got a little bit more to offer right now. I feel like that strength, that extra oomph, that short down goal line back, I feel like he deserves another season. And even if McLaughlin does become RB3, and let's say, just for the sake of the argument, that Estime gets shoved out, he's going to have a diminished role from last year. That's just the truth. I mean, the stats, they kind of prove it. Last year was kind of his year sitting behind Javonte Williams. Sitting behind Javonte Williams. That was his year to show us I can have a breakout season, and it was just lackluster. I mean, I don't mind that you were right around 500 yards, but to only find the end zone one time is just, it's not good. It's not good enough. Which is why I also believe the Broncos identified the running back position and the tight end position as two big emphases or areas of need heading into the offseason after the year was done. After that embarrassing loss to Buffalo, you needed to address those weak spots. And as much as Jaleel can be Sean Payton's guy, his role on this team will be significantly less, which is why I believe there could potentially be a trade for him. You could get some draft capital back for him. Might be a 6th or a 7th round pick, but you could get something for him. All right, on to our next loser. And again, Jaquan McMillan, I have a tough time with this one, and I'll tell you why. From a talent perspective, Jaquan McMillan is a very good NFL starter. I'm going to be completely transparent with you, though. The main question I have is, what's his role going to be? Because this Broncos secondary now looks scary as hell. And with the addition of Jahdae Barron, most likely starting in the slot corner, I really don't know what J-Mac's role is going to be. Is it going to be a rotational piece? Is he going to float back to the depth spot? Like, what's it going to be for him? Because you've got Pat Surtain. He's not taking away snaps from Surtain. So could he eventually shift outside? Probably not. And again, like I said, from a production and a number standpoint, I have no issues with what he was able to prove the last couple of seasons. His PFF grade could be a little bit higher, but like I said, PFF's not the Bible. And the last 2 seasons, he's getting better. He's not getting worse. I mean, 30 more tackles than he had in 2023, doubled his pass breakups, same amount of interceptions. His coverage grade was slightly higher. This is a player that has proven he can be a quality starter. But do you want quality or do you want special? And I think Jahdae can be special. Now, does that mean Jahdae could be special as an outside corner? Maybe. Does it mean that he'll stick primarily in the slot and be a special slot corner? It's a possibility. I just don't know what it's going to end up looking like for Jaquan McMillan. And that's why I have to put him on the losers list. Because if I don't know where your current role stands on this team, how can I label you a winner? I mean, and this is all under the assumption, of course, that Jahdae is what we think he's going to be, if he is as good as advertised. So I'll just ask you this. Pick a winner, or not a winner. Take 2. Pick a starter for me. Jahdae Barron or Jaquan McMillan. If I had to put my money on it right now, I have to go Jahdae. He went in the first round, 20 overall. You've got to start him. So, unfortunately for Jaquan, I love his talent. I think he's good enough to be a starting corner, or the starting nickel corner week 1. But I got to roll with JB. And that's just where I'm at right now. All right, my last loser is PJ Locke. And again, another secondary position where I look at it and I go, another diminished role for another player that, I'm going to be completely honest with you, didn't show me that much last year. I mean, just take a look at the full depth chart. Pat Surtain, best in the league. Jaquan McMillan, good starter if you don't have Jahdae Barron there. Brandon Jones had the best season of his career last year. We'll touch on him a little bit later on in the episode. Talanoa Hufanga, elite talent. Riley Moss still has the ability to be a quality starter as well. So I look at the additions that were made in Talanoa Hufanga, and I look at the depth that they still have, mainly in Devin Key, and I say, is there really an issue with depth at the safety position? And my answer is, not really. Like, anybody can be that depth piece because you're hoping that Hufanga and Jones stay completely 100% healthy. And Hufanga, you brought him in for a reason. You paid him all that money for a reason. When he's healthy, he is a Pro Bowl caliber safety. PJ Locke is not a Pro Bowl caliber safety. Brandon Jones had the best season of his career, and that was with the Broncos. So I look at what Vance Joseph is trying to do. I think he sees the quality of our starters, for sure. Now, before I end the episode completely, our next goal, call it a mini goal, if you will, is 36,300 subscribers. We only need 31. So if you could do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and send this to a a Broncos fan in your life. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool. I know it was long. It had to be long. It's a complete off-season winners and losers. That had to be like, is that 20 minutes? Yeah. Dude, that was a 20-minute video. Whoo! Was it exactly at 12:33? Did you mark that down? Or was it a little bit before that or after that?
Well, it started at like 12 minutes, and now it's 33.
Yikes. Yikes. We got 52 people watching right now, but listen, it's a complete, like those off-season winners and losers videos. I was producing one the other day here at Chat Sports, and it was like a 19-minute video itself. So it just comes with the territory. Sometimes that's how it is. All right. Here's a very important question for all of those watching right now, all 51 of you, and if you could put this in the chat below, I would greatly appreciate it. I need to see as many answers to this as possible. What super chat items would you like to see this season heading into the 2025 year? Excuse me. I need to know this because so that I can tell my boss what you guys would like to raffle off or what you guys would like to see be delivered to you and what you could potentially win during the season and during those watch parties. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think or what you would want us to, what we end up doing. Oh, I think we have internet cutting out right now. Hold on. Are we cutting out right now for internet, guys, or are we still good? Yes, no, yes, no. It's frozen on my screen. Does it look good on yours? Yeah. Okay. Then I'm gonna act like everything's fine right now. Let me just load this up real quick again. Maybe it's my thing. Yeah, okay. I think we're good. Tickets could be a little bit tougher. It might be like an end of the season item. There might be like a 4-pack that we could do, but I don't think we could do tickets like every week or every other week. It might be like a 1-week sort of deal. We're so back, chat. Sweet. All right, let's put that super chat up on screen for Mr. Danny. He's been waiting patiently. Thank you, Danny. Is Bo Nix a legit fantasy QB1? Hell yeah. Hell yes. And here's why. For fantasy, I mean, Justin Fields is a good fantasy option at quarterback because of his ability to run. So you want players, and quarterbacks especially, that can get out and also run 7 to 8 times a game. Bo showed last year he can absolutely do that, which I'll even be completely transparent with you. I didn't think he was capable of it when he was coming out of Oregon. I really didn't. I looked at him as a pocket passing quarterback, someone who's only going to play on script and would have marginal success in the NFL. I'm glad I was proven wrong because out of all the guys that were drafted last year, between Caleb, Jaden, Drake May, he's way more mobile than Michael Penix. But those 3 guys that I just listed, Bo was listed as the 4th most athletic out of all 3 of those dudes. I think his athleticism is right on par with somebody like Drake May. And Caleb's, I don't know what Caleb Williams is right now. Come back to me on that. But Jaden Daniels is clearly the most athletic and the most, dual threat. But absolutely, he is a legitimate fantasy QB1. What I would stay away from, though, if I were you, Danny, is drafting all Denver Broncos players. I've seen that done a multitude of times, and that's never a good recipe. But thank you so much for super chatting. All right, coming up next. Here we go. Y'all should ask fans to send pictures from games this season to feature on the channel. I totally will. I absolutely will do that. I think that's pretty cool. We've got Broncos hidden gems. Now, like I said, I was reading this article, and this article listed 2 players that could have standout seasons is the wrong word. I forget how they phrased it. It's almost like they could see a bigger role in 2025. And oh, sweet! We got a $20 super chat from Boss Man Jay. We'll get it up on screen here in just about 10 seconds before we start our next little segment. But like I was saying, it's a bigger role heading into 2025. One of the players I disagree with pretty highly, not because of why they listed him, but because of how they kind of view him. The second one, are we back? Can you guys hear us? Are we back? Can you guys hear us? Testing, 1 2 1 2. All right. There we go. We're back. Yep, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, Jay, I was answering your question. We're having internet issues right now. The truth is that I think the Broncos clearly wanted to upgrade this running back room. And Bidet, while he's really good at pass blocking and is able to pick up a blitz really well, better than guys like Estime for sure, who also has a fumbling issue, I don't think the Broncos view him as a player that can really make a huge impact in the backfield. Does that make sense? I mean, between Harvey, Dobbins, McLaughlin, and Estime, Bidet really doesn't have the, what's the word? He doesn't have that it factor, I guess, is kind of what I'm looking for. So I hope that helps, but I honestly don't know necessarily that his role is going to increase at all in 2025. But I appreciate your breakdown. It's an interesting take for sure. Okay. Before we get into our next one, I just want to make sure everything looks good because we're at 40 minutes already. Are we still streaming? Are you guys good? Can you hear us? Okay, cool. Sweet. All right. Mr. Dilly Dilly, we're going on to our second segment, which is all about Denver Broncos sleepers heading into 2025. Except Pusherland Empire said no. Okay. Okay, that's fine. All right, we're going to assume that everything's fine, and we'll just move on from there. All right. Here we go, heading into our Broncos sleepers heading into 2025. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. And on today's episode, I have found 2 players listed that are potential sleepers for the Broncos heading into the 2025 season. 2 players that I believe could end up seeing an increased role, well, at least they did in this particular article, heading into the 2025 season. Now, before we begin, our June likes record is sitting at 461 current subscribers. The actual record itself is 525 subs. We're this close to beating it, so do me a favor, lock us in, hit that subscribe button for free Broncos content all year long. So I just kind of want to break down who these players are at first. So the sleeper picks that this particular article noted were, you know what, let's just start over. We're good. Sorry about that, guys. No, I realized at the very end there, but it's just let's just start over. We're fine. You guys get to see how the sausage is made. All right. Give me a quick point then, Dylan, too, because I think that's another thing that kind of threw me off, is I didn't know when you were rocking and rolling. All right? I'm ready. What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Heading into the 2025 season, a recent article that I came across listed 2 Broncos as potential sleeper picks heading into 2025. Now, before we break down who those players are, our June subs record currently sits right here. 525 is the record, so all we would need to do is hit 526 to beat it. So hit that subscribe button. It's free for all year-long Broncos coverage. Now, like I said, coming up, the 2 sleeper picks in 2025 that could see increased roles for the Denver Broncos. Interestingly enough, both of these players, I feel like, had productive moments in 2025. One of the players had the best season of his entire career, but I don't want to get to him quite just yet. I want to start with the first sleeper pick that this article listed, which was Dondre Tillman, who came from the USFL and quickly found his role on the Denver Broncos as a rotational piece, a rotational linebacker who got after the quarterback pretty frequently when he was in the game. Here's what Vance Joseph, Broncos defensive coordinator, had to say about Dondre Tillman this offseason. He basically said that he knew that Dondre was a big guy who could run, that freaky athleticism that you're kind of looking for as a 4th outside linebacker, a rotational piece for the Broncos heading into 2025. But then he went on to say that when you have young guys in the league who can rush the passer and can't finish, it seemingly becomes one of those like eye roll moments. But Tillman is a finisher, which I'll touch on here in just a little bit. But Sean Payton also echoed the sentiments said by Joseph and said he's certainly been a big plus. Kind of a diamond in the rough, if you will. He's given us that physicality. He works his tail off. And when you can get a player like that maybe you weren't counting on, it's a really, really good sign. Now, sleeper seems like the perfect word, because when you bring in a player from a different league, especially somewhere like the USFL, things can be a little hit or miss, because the talent level, Drew Sanders, Alex Singleton, Dre Greenlaw, all 3 of those players, major injury red flags. Now, what does it look like from a number standpoint? Some deep dive in the analytics, if you will. Well, Tillman totaled only 242 snaps last year for the Broncos and 12 quarterback pressures. So that includes sacks and knockdowns, which leads to just under 5%, which I'm not going to lie to you, isn't, outstanding. It's not terrible, because if you look at, the pressure rate between the number 15 through number 19 in the NFL, by the way, JFM and Nick Benito both make this list in the top 20. You'd want to be as close to 10% as possible. But for a player that wasn't viewed as a starting caliber player to get onto the field and be able to give you the production that he did was an incredible find. And Sean Payton also went on in the article and was quoted as saying he absolutely will find a increased role in 2025. We just have to find the right packages for him. So this isn't going to be a player that only gets 50 to 60 snaps. No. You're going to be looking at, my opinion, 300 plus snaps for Tillman heading into 2025. So do you want to see him end up getting more snaps? It's a simple yes or no question. Let me know right now. Yes or no in the comment section down below. I'm penciling in my yes, and it is an emphatic yes. A hell yes, if you will. Our second one, and I hate saying this, because, why is he on this list? He can't be a sleeper if he was unbelievable last year. It's Brandon Jones. Now, starting caliber safety. You listed him as a increased role, but last year his role was tremendous. In fact, he had the best season of his entire NFL career. So he got some really high praise, and I will agree with this statement. PFF labeled him as the most underrated player on the Broncos. I have no doubt in my mind that that is a true statement right there. But to call him a sleeper pick, it's not exactly the word that I would use. Now, PFF does go on to talk about what 2024 was for Brandon Jones, and here's what they specifically had to say. 2024 was a massive season for Jones, who signed a 3-year free agent contract despite not having played more than 644 defensive snaps in a year with dealing with several injuries. Jones not only proved the Broncos right in signing him, but also exceeded expectations by finishing as one of the 5 highest graded safeties overall. And just to kind of echo what I had said previously, you cannot be a sleeper pick if you were rated inside the top 10 by PFF. So I don't know that I'd call him a sleeper, so to speak. Now, could you say that he is a resurging player? Could you say that he is a comeback player? Could you say that he's the most underrated player? I think all of those are more than adequate to talk about. But the truth is that with his ability last year, and Mr. Producer Dylan, if you want to throw up his list for stat coming up here in just a little bit, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. PFF safety rankings at 6, 7, 8, and 9, where Brandon Jones falls heading into the 2025 season, I think it's kind of a slap in the face to call him a sleeper pick. Because sleepers to me, and you can disagree with this if you want, sleepers to me are guys that, like Tillman, didn't have a huge role that could end up having an explosion season. Someone that you had no idea was going to produce the way he did. And it was a shock to everybody, but a pleasant shock. And do these numbers scream sleeper to you? These are Pro Bowl numbers. 115 tackles, 10 pass breakups, 3 INTs. A PFF grade of 86.7, which is one of the highest in the league. It was top 5 for them. So please tell me, where is the sleeper? Now, Brandon Jones, God bless him, kind of was asked about this type of stuff, and he took a different approach. He talked about his progression of the game and his game overall. And he said, I want to grow in every aspect. I don't think you can ever be too good at one thing. I was glad I was able to show that I can be more versatile, especially being labeled early on in my career as just one thing. I'm just excited to continue to do what I can do and be a great teammate and leader for the defense. That's a great answer. And he was labeled as a box safety when he played in Miami. And for those of you who don't know what a box safety is, a box safety is simply this. Somebody that is known for his physicality and his aggressiveness, climbing up in the box and stopping the run. But I saw last year, and I think all of us can agree that in coverage, he was outstanding. In fact, his coverage grade from PFF was a 90 overall. So he showed his ability to be a dual threat safety, someone that can still climb the box, but someone who can just as easily flip his hips, drop back in coverage, and purvey the center of the field, almost like a center fielder does in baseball. Keep everything in front of you. Identify plays as you see them. Communicate with the cornerbacks and the defense and the linebackers. You've got all of it in front of you. And Brandon Jones showed last year that not only is he a leader of this team, but the best years of his career are only in front of him. So, are these the ultimate safety blankets? Just try to have a little fun with that one. Talanoa Hufanga and Brandon Jones. Do you think this duo is one of the best in the NFL? And if you agree, like the video for me. Just helps us put more stuff on your timeline and shows that you agree with that assessment. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and as always, be cool. Good stuff. Whew! It is very, very hot in here. It's always right around the time that we get to do the mailbag dilly that I start to sweat. And people are probably like, why is this guy's forehead so shiny? Boss man, that's a pretty good way of looking at it. Like, if you don't know, like if you don't really watch the game, you wouldn't think that highly of Brandon Jones. But I look at it like this. For a guy who his entire career was known as one thing, to go out and do what he did last year, and still people aren't giving him the respect that he deserves, that truly means that you are one of the most underrated players in the NFL. He is on a short list, I would say, of probably 5 to 10 players that are like the most underrated in the NFL. If that list exists, which I'm sure it does at some point. All right. How many questions do we have, Mr. Dilly, and how many more do we need? 4. Ooh, we need way more. We got 30 people watching right now. We need even more questions. We need to get up to as close to 10 as possible. Can we do that? Let's get some hashtag Broncos or some super chats. We can also throw the super chats in there as well, Dilly. So we're up to 6. That's in the 4? Ooh, that's not good. Let's get some more questions in here before we start our mailbag episode. Can we please? Hashtag Broncos is the only way, or to super chat, that you can get featured on our mailbag. Let's get a couple more in here, guys. Come on now. Couple more hashtag. Are we still off? Oh, okay, good. Sorry about that, guys. We're having internet issues today. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. We are struggling to pay the internet bill. I don't know, Dylan, did you? Maybe. There we go. We got a couple more in there. All right, we're good. Ty Man, can I get a question from you as well, my friend? Jackson, you're a real. Can I get a question from you as well, my friend? Jackson, you're a real one. Appreciate that. Michael, yeah, I'm sorry, my guy. We're having internet issues. It is what it is. It happens from time to time. It's not just us, by the way. There's a bunch of other live shows going on right now at Chat Sports, and they're having internet issues as well. All right. Let's just roll with it, Dylan. All right, we're going to jump into our mailbag episode right now. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports, and we are just about ready to get into our mailbag episode, which airs every single live episode on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And before we start, you know what to do? Like the video for us. Helps us put more Broncos stuff on your YouTube timeline all off-season long, and it's completely free. All right, let's start off with a $20 super chat from our guy, Boss Man Jay. He says, Moose, what up, buddy? Biting my nails for camp. Why have people forgot about Bidet? Only 11 rushes, but 10 yards per carry. My breakout for 2025. It's an interesting take there, Boss Man. And the truth is that I think from what you saw last year, the Broncos put an emphasis on making sure that they upgraded the running back room and the tight ends. So they went out and they signed Evan Ingram. They drafted R.J. Harvey. They signed J.K. Dobbins. I just don't know that Bidet has a room for more carries. I know he's excellent in pass protection. He's a hell of a lot better blocker in picking up blitzes than Audric Estime, who also has a fumbling problem. But if I look at the current running back room and the way that it's kind of slated, the truth is that I just don't know that he has that big of a role in terms of carries. In fact, you could make the argument that he could be a cut candidate. And I don't take any pleasure in saying that, but think about the 4 that we have right now. McLaughlin, Estime, Harvey, Dobbins. There's 4. Are you going to run with 5? I don't know. I don't think so. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in training camp. So no decisions are going to be made right now, but I appreciate your $20 super chat. Thanks for getting in on the show. Jackson, how much do you think Benito is worth for his extension? You know, I made a video on this. I think he's going to get Montez Sweat money. And Montez Sweat currently is getting, $24.5 million a year, I think. So you could be looking at some extremely high money, especially if you're banking on him, having to go out and perform heading into the 2025 season. I do realize he shot out of a cannon last year. 13.5 sacks is no joke. But right now you're looking at probably end up getting something like a Montez Sweat extension. So your floor would be somewhere around 20 to 24 million in that range. I hope that helps. I don't exactly know what George Payton's going to value him as. It's all going to depend on what happens in 2025. Appreciate you getting in on the channel. Michael, Moose, which Broncos rookie has the best chance of winning Rookie of the Year? RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey. And I say that because it's hard for corners to go out and win this specific award because their numbers aren't usually flashy. Think about this. A cornerback, if he's really good, has less numbers, right? Because they won't target him. Opposing quarterbacks won't target that side of the field, which is why I feel like when you watch and you look at Pat Surtain's numbers, you're always like, these numbers don't really jump out at you. But the truth is nobody throws to him because they know he's that good in coverage. So it's going to be very hard for a corner to win Rookie of the Year, and a running back has the ability to put up some flashy video game-like numbers. Excuse me. So it is R.J. Harvey for sure. After that, I'd probably say Pat Bryant has the next best chance, but truth is that it's R.J. Harvey, and it's probably not that close out of all the Broncos rookies. Danny coming in with a super chat. Is Bo Nix a legitimate fantasy QB1? Yes, he is, because he showed the ability to run the football. Listen, for fantasy, it's kind of ass backwards. Justin Fields is a good fantasy option at quarterback because he runs like 9 to 12 times a game. Bo Nix showed us last year, and to my surprise, was awesome in running the football. His ability to scramble was so much better than I gave him credit for, especially when he was drafted. I thought he was just a pocket-passing quarterback, someone that was just going to play on script, do nothing else, and have marginal success in the NFL. I'm glad I was proven wrong because he is clearly a dual-threat quarterback, 110%. Thank you, Danny, for getting in on the show. Speaking of getting in on the show, this Chat Sports t-shirt right here that we have from our friends over at Fanatics is pretty sweet itself, and that's why we're featuring it on today's show. So make sure you go to chatsports.com/BoNixT. If you use this link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video, you can start shopping, and it gives us a little kickback as well. So if you want to support the channel, do me a favor, use that link and go to chatsports.com/BoNixT and start shopping with Fanatics today. Back to Jackson. Do you think Miners will win the Best Offensive Lineman award? That's a really good question. I think anybody from the Broncos outside of Wattenberg, probably, and Ben Powers, has a pretty decent shot to win it. Garrett Bowles does. Miners definitely does. And McGlinchey also has a slim chance in there. But Miners for sure. I do think that would be a hell of an accomplishment, don't you? I mean, dude's a beast. So it's hard to... it's really, really hard to talk about offensive linemen in an analytical way because the truth is you can only really go off of like sacks allowed and PFF grades. It's not a sexy position. But the hog mollies up front definitely do a great job of protecting Bo Nix. So I'll answer your question by saying yes, absolutely he does. The only two that really have no shot, in my opinion, are Wattenberg and Ben Powers. But thanks for getting in on not the super chat, excuse me. I'm losing my train of thought here on the show. Mark, I believe that players approaching 30 should get less guaranteed money and more incentive money. What do you believe? It depends on how old that 30 years old is. Stay with me now. I know that sounds like a stupid statement. But let me ask you this. What about a player that has had 3 to 4 injuries and has had... But appreciate your question. Josh, we play 7 playoff QBs this season and Joe Burrow. What do you think our chances are of leading the league in picks this season. On offense or defense? I'll answer both. I don't think Bo is going to have as many interceptions as he did last year. In fact, when I predicted his stat line, I said 9. So I think he's going to have a better year in terms of not turning the ball over. But defensively, it's tough. I think you're going to look at this and say interceptions are not something that I feel like quarterbacks care about nearly as much anymore. I know Aaron Rodgers is one of those players that always took pride in throwing the least amount of interceptions possible. But the truth is that Josh Allen has been known for throwing interceptions. Pat Mahomes threw a shit ton of interceptions last year. So interceptions, as long as you're not doing them at inopportune times, kind of an overrated statistic. So I could say that the chances are actually pretty high in leading the league in interceptions. Appreciate it, Josh. Boss man, one more time. Just kidding, Dylan. Moose, who is going to be on kickoff return next to Marvin Mims Jr. Ooh, God. Come back to me. I'd really like to see Troy Franklin back there. I really would. I think he's electric, but I don't know yet. I kind of want to see what Darren Rizzi has in store for this, because ultimately he's a special teams guru. So I want to say Troy Franklin so bad. I think it'd be so much fun. I'm going to say Mims right now for starters. Come back to me on that. It's a great question. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you have not, and send this to a Broncos fan in your life. Until next time, be cool. I am sweating like you would not believe. Michael, $20 super chat. Sweet. We'll get you up on screen here in just a second, Michael. Is he coming up? Oh, okay, you got it. No problem. $20 super chat. That's $42 that we've made on this show. That is awesome, considering we've had some severe internet issues. Did it really? Oh my God. Yeah, that might not go out then. If it's bad enough, if you're making the cut, load it up on the channel. But if it sucks, just like write me a note in there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, the cuts are going to be fine because it's still streamed. It's just
oh, okay.
On live.
Yeah. Good call. Uh-oh. Boss Man Jay coming in with another $2 super chat. He said, I'm challenging you. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. Appreciate you guys super chatting, though. That means a lot, especially in June. 100%. Dog days of the offseason is absolutely frickin' right, my friend. Absolutely frickin' right. Appreciate you guys sticking around, even through all of the tech issues that we've had.
You were trying to avoid it. It just happens that it followed you.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to keep fighting this. So, make it 2 minutes.
Okay.
We'll do a 2 minutes countdown here for the super chats because we are having some severe issues with internet. So if you do want to get any last minute super chats, we're going to put a 2-minute timer on, and then that will wrap up our show. Appreciate Bossman Jay and Michael Ronquillo. I think that's how you say it, Ronquillo. Did I say that correctly? For super chatting, Michael and Bossman Jay. Excellent job, my friends. Excellent job. Appreciate everything that you're doing and supporting the channel. It means a lot. Mark says, hey, no problem. The hardcore stick with it. They certainly do. They certainly do. Oh, man. Nathan says Troy Franklin, 800 yards and 8 touchdowns floor for 2025. Yeah, I think Devon Vele is going to have the number 2 spot locked up, though. I think you're going to see Devon Vele like slaughter 2025. I have high hopes for him. That's unfortunate. That's okay, Dakota. Next time for sure. Next time, faux show. 55 seconds to get your last second super chats in. Did I nail it? Sweet. Let's go. Look at me. I'm nailing that shit. Oh, by the way, is there any other video, any topic that you guys want me to explore for the Broncos? Is there a specific type of video that you want to see me put out in the next couple of weeks? If so, let me know in the chat below before we leave here, and I'll definitely see if I can make it work and see if I can find some stuff to talk about. Ronquillo. I need to get a new headset too, Dylan. This thing sucks.
I thought you just got one.
No, not a new one. Like this one. This one's very old, like super old. All right. That's pretty much going to just about do it for us. Again, my name is Moose. If you want to go follow me over on X, I would greatly appreciate that. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Michael says comeback players for the Denver Broncos. Absolutely, that can definitely be made. And shout out to Michael and to Bossman Jay for super chatting and supporting the channel. Real ones like you guys make it so much fun to come back every single week and do live shows. Until next time, my name is Moose. You know what to do. Be cool.